Hello, YouTube family. Tom, aka Patrick, here with Patrick's Playbook. Today, I am going to do a video of the top 5 songs from January 26th, 1980. Here's why. This channel has primarily been a YouTube haul channel, and I'm still going to do that. That's still going to be the number one thing that happens on Patrick's Playbook. But I thought this year, just for fun, I would branch out a little bit and do some music, some sports, maybe different topics, but probably just music, mostly music and a little bit of sports. But the YouTube hauls will still be the number one function of this channel. But I just thought it'd be really fun to do the top 5 songs from the Billboard, top 100, top 40. A lot of people know it as, Casey Kasem's top 40. He would do the top 40 from each week of the 1970s and 80s, actually. But I'm I'm only going to do 1980s. And here's how it's going to work. It's going to be really fun, I think. So this week I'm going to do top 5, pop rock hits from January 26th to 1980. Reason being is that's what we're closest to in the time, we are now. I'm filming this on January 22nd. And for example, next week, the countdown will be January 31st, 1981. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell for notification. And, we took some time off from the channel, but we are back. We're back. So without further ado, let's begin. This will be really fun. I'm gonna list the top 5 songs, give you a fact of each song, and then I'm gonna rank the 5 myself in order of how I personally like them. And it'd be really fun if you guys did that too in the comments if you want, if you have the time and the inclination. I listen to each one of these songs that I'm about to go over. I listen to each song 3 times just to kind of form my opinion on each one. All of these I've heard growing up. I'm a huge music fan. I loved listening to Casey Kasem's top 40. I listened to it every week when I was a kid. The 80s were my time. I was 11 years old in 1980, so I love all music, but I really like 1980s music a lot. So without further ado, let's begin. I think you guys are going to like these 5 songs and some pretty big name artists in here, some really big name artists. The number 5 song from January 26th to 1980 was Cruisin' by Smokey Robinson, the legendary Smokey Robinson. A lot of you might know from the 1960s, he was in a Motown band called Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. He was the primary songwriter, and he did write this song, Cruisin'. He wrote it himself, no co-writer. Cruisin' is a really smooth R&B pop song. I really, really liked it. I heard it growing up. Like I said, I've heard all these songs growing up. Some songs I like better than others. I really enjoyed this song. This song peaked at number 4. So it was number 5 for this week, and it peaked at number 4. That's where it was at its peak. So Cruisin', Smokey Robinson, number 5. The number 4 song, very interesting, this one. Escape, the Pino Colada song by Rupert Holmes. He is a British-American songwriter who also had another top 10 hit called Him from the same album that this song was from. An interesting fun fact about this song, it was the last number 1 song of the 1970s. How fascinating is that? In fact, all of the songs I'm listing today, January of 1980, they were all written and recorded, of course, in 79. So that's kind of fascinating. So even though we're into the 80s for the countdown, a lot of these songs kind of have the feel of 1970 songs because they were literally written in the 1970s. So I kind of thought about that as I was doing this. I'm like, yeah, these kind of sound 70s, and of course, because they were written in the 70s. But yeah, Escape, the Pino Colada song is a song you hear so often on the radio still, like here in the Twin Cities on Soft Rock. The station that plays Casey Kasem's American Top 40 every Saturday morning here, KDWB 101.3, is actually a station that you hear this song quite a bit. here locally. And I enjoy the Escape the Pino Colada song a good bit. Very unique lyrics. This song, like I said, was the last #1 song of the 70s. So obviously that's where it peaked, was #1, of course. And so it was falling down the countdown this week. But so there you go. Escape, the Pino Colada song by Rupert Holmes. And he himself wrote this song. So that song is #4 in this countdown. #3 is a song it's very, very unique in that it is a country music song that crossed over onto the pop charts by a very well-known artist. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to be big fans of this gentleman who has, he passed away in 2020, rather, 2020, Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers is so legendary in the music world, period. He had 24 #1 country songs, 2 #1 pop songs. The 2 #1 pop songs were Islands in the Stream and Lady. This song, Coward of the County, was #3 in January 26, 1980, and it actually peaked at #3. So this was the height of its popularity. This song was written by Roger Bowling and Billy Wheeler. So it was written for Kenny by those two gentlemen. And it's a very unique, it's a very lyric-driven song, very much a story song, storytelling song. I really enjoy this song. I remember growing up, driving in the car with my parents and hearing this song. My parents were huge country music fans, huge Kenny Rogers fans. I think a lot of people know Kenny from songs like The Gambler, Lucille, and of course this song, Coward of the County, Islands in the Stream, Lady. I mean, he had, oh my gosh, he had so many hits. He had a duet with Kim Carnes. That was really huge. I think it went to #3. Don't Fall in Love with a Stranger. Yeah, Kenny is just absolute music royalty. Rest in peace. And so that song, Coward of the County, was #3. The #2 song, very interesting song, was Do That to Me One More Time by Captain and Tennille. This song was written by Toni Tennille, the female, co-founder of this band. Everyone, not everyone, but this is a band that was gigantic in the 1970s. They had hits like, Love Will Keep Us Together and Muskrat Love. They were really, really popular. They actually had their own television kind of like, just kind of like TV variety show for a while, the Captain and Tennille show. And it was popular. I remember seeing the Captain and Tennille show when I was a kid. They were from about 1974 all the way through this song. They were very popular. Now, interestingly enough, this song, this did peak at #1. It was #2 this week, but it did go to #1. And this was their last, not only their last #1 hit, this was their last top 40 hit. So Captain and Tennille's success after this song did not continue, at least, just as far as chart success. And, they kind of flamed out as far as being like a gigantic popular act. But they really had a great run. And this song did go, like I said, did go to #1. So they had a #1 hit in the 80s. And it is indeed Do That to Me One More Time. And again, this was written by Toni Tennille. Okay. Woo, oh my gosh. The #1 song from January 26th, 1980. This is an interesting one because this song here, compared to the 4 I just listed, sounds very modern. I would say the other 4 songs are very soft rock, very A&R, very kind of light rock, very much feel like the 70s. This next song, I think, feels like the 80s, and it is Rock With You by Michael Jackson. A lot of people, of course, everyone knows Michael Jackson, rest in peace. Obviously, Thriller is the biggest selling album of all time. This song was from the album before Thriller, Off the Wall, which I remember some of my friends having this album, Off the Wall. I didn't have this personally. I did have Thriller and Bad, the 2 albums that followed this. But this album was huge. It had the hits Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, the song Off the Wall, and of course this song, Rock With You. This song was not written by Michael. It was written by Rod Temperton, interestingly enough. Professional songwriter who wrote a lot of Motown songs. And he actually wrote the song Thriller as well. Rod Temperton did. So, but this was a huge hit. I can remember as a kid actually roller skating and hearing the song, while we were all roller skating. It was really fun. Those who grew up in the 70s and early 80s can remember that, roller skating rinks. And it was so fun. And this song has a very kind of disco feel almost, very up-tempo. The beginning is very, very distinctive. Like when you hear the music for this, it's very, very distinctive sound. So, again, the number one song from January 26th, 1980 was Rock With You by Michael Jackson. Okay, so there's the top 5. Now, I thought it would be fun, and this would be really fun for me, for those of you who watch this video. If you have the time and you want to, it'd be so fun for me if you guys would listen to these 5 songs and let me know what you think of them. If you want to rank them, great, or if you just want to tell me which of the 5 is your favorite, that would be wonderful. I would absolutely love that. But obviously, if you don't have the time or inclination, that is just fine. So what I thought I would do is rank these 5 songs in my own personal preference, just for my own musical taste. So here we go. From these songs, I'll go 5 to 1, just like the real countdown. My 5th favorite song of these is Escape, the Pino Colada song. I like it. It's a little gimmicky for me. I understand, and I know it's a huge hit, obviously. It went to number 1. But I think for me, the novelty of the lyrics, like the first time you hear it, it's kind of a surprise, kind of a surprise ending song. And I think the more often you hear it, it kind of loses, for me, it kind of loses its punch because you kind of already know what's coming with the surprise ending. So although I like it, I don't love it, and this would definitely be last of the 5 songs that I listed. So number 5 for me, personally, is Escape, the Pino Colada song by Rupert Holmes. But mad respect, he wrote a number 1 song and made a lot of money from it, of course. My number 4 songs of, my 4th favorite song, rather, of these 5 is Do That To Me One More Time by Captain and Tennille. Now, this is an absolutely classic love song. They were a married couple in real life. So, I mean, it's a beautiful song. It has a beautiful sentiment. I like it. I think the reason that it drops below the other 3 songs for me is, as I said at the beginning, I listened to all 5 of these songs 3 times each. And I think by the 3rd time that I heard this song, I discovered that for me, the song might be just a little long. I think it pushes, the 5-minute barrier. And the speed of the song I like, but I feel like every time I listened to it, it got like a little bit slower perhaps. So although I like it, it's definitely the 4th of these 5 for personal preference. So number 4 for me, Captain and Tennille, Do That To Me One More Time. Now the next 3 I enjoy quite a bit more than the 2 I just listed. And this was actually a really tough call for me to rank these 3. But at number 3, and I think this kind of surprised me, is Rock With You by Michael Jackson. When I first looked at what the 5 songs were, I thought, oh my gosh, that's for sure going to be my favorite. Because, Michael Jackson, I love Thriller, like I love the album Bad, and I'm a fairly big Michael fan. So when I first saw this, I thought for sure this would be my favorite. But honestly, the more I listen to the other 2, I still love Rock With You by Michael Jackson. The other 2 just kind of gained for me the more I listen to them. So love this song. It's close between these 3 songs, but number 3 for me, for my own personal preference, is Michael Jackson, Rock With You. My number 2 favorite song of these 5 is Cruisin' by Smokey Robinson. His voice is chef's kiss. I mean, Smokey Robinson, I love so many of his 60s hits. Tears of a Clown, which was his only number 1 U.S. Billboard hit, actually. I mean, he wrote many songs for other artists that went to number 1, but as far as songs he sang, Tears of a Clown was his only number 1 hit. I love the song Tracks of My Tears. I love so many of his hits. But I really, really love this song, Cruisin'. Oh my gosh. The 3 times I listened to it, it sounded better each time. And I almost put this at number 1, but there's just one I love slightly better, and maybe nostalgia comes in. But for me, and I think it's probably because not only do I love it, but I think it's the nostalgia of just driving with my family, you know, across the state of Minnesota when I was a kid, and just hearing the song on the radio and hearing my dad sing it. But Coward of the County by Kenny Rogers is my favorite song of these 5. It's such a great story song. You know, kind of like Escape, the Pina Colada song is a story song. So 2 of these 5 are really big story songs. But I love this. I never get tired of the story. I mean, it's wonderful, you know. The character's name is Tommy. My name's Tom. I don't know, that might have something to do with it. I just really, really, really love this song. So Coward of the County by Kenny Rogers is my favorite song of these 5. So guys, there you have it. Those are the top 5 songs on the Billboard American Top 40, KCKism, however you want to word it. Technically, it's the Billboard Top 100. And I'm going to do the 5 songs. I'm going to do this one video a week in this series. And just let me know in the comments, do you like this? Do you like this as an idea? Did you enjoy the video? And I'm going to try to keep these to 20 minutes or less. You know, just kind of talk about the songs a little bit and talk about upcoming, you know, countdowns that I'm going to do. So next week, I'm going to do the top 5 songs for January 31st, 1981. I've taken a sneak peek ahead. I haven't listened to them yet, but I'm just going to tell you a little hint. Next week's countdown, I love way more than this week's countdown. And I love Coward of the County, and I love 3 of these 5 songs a good bit. Next week, I love all 5 songs. It's really incredible how each year, to me, the 80s just got better and better. I think actually 1984 is my favorite year for music. A lot of you who know me know I'm a gigantic Prince fan. Purple Rain was 1984. Born in the USA, Springsteen was 84. Madonna had her biggest album in 84. You know, Thriller was still on fire in 84 by Michael. But yeah, there's some great music coming up. But there it is. There's my opinions for the 5 songs from January 26th, 1980, and what they were. And I would love it, guys, if you watch this and enjoy this, if you would listen to the 5 songs and let me know which of the 5 is your favorite. Rank all 5 if you want in order, but just tell me which one's your favorite. That would be so much fun. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this. I love doing Dollar Tree hauls, but it's just kind of fun to branch out. Thank you so very much for watching this. Tell your friends about this channel. We are back. And guys, until then, keep smiling, keep shining, keep shopping.